Hello everybody, my name is Stacy. Welcome to my channel, The Liminal Space, and welcome to June, or June's reading. How was May for you guys? May kind of kicked my ass, not gonna lie. I knew it was gonna be intense and I didn't think it was gonna be, smooth, but wow, lots of energy. And it just kind of kept building, like it never really settled. I have a friend who was like, oh, it's going to be better after the new moon. And then, oh, it's going to be better after the full moon. I don't know. We're still kind of in the full moon window. There's a full moon on May 31st. So that's the Sagittarius new moon, but the full moon kind of is a 3-day phase, or how I view it anyway. So it's rolling into June 1st. I mean, we are in that intense energy. May shifted us from Taurus into Gemini season, which is a very different frequency as well. And so that's how we're starting off June. We're in Gemini season, which is very mental, very forward thinking, with Sagittarius energy. And Sagittarius really has no bounds. I think of them as the gypsies of the zodiac. So anyway, I'm pretty excited to see what June will have in store for us. So we'll have a couple interesting things happening this month. We'll have a new moon in Gemini on the 15th. That'll be towards the end of Gemini season, and then we'll be shifting soon into Cancer season. The full moon will be in the sign of Cancer, but it will be, will be in Cancer season then, but it will be in Capricorn energy, the full moon. That's at the 29th of the month, so that's coming. And then on the 21st, another big thing to focus on is the summer solstice, at least summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, where I am at. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you'll be embracing the winter solstice, and that is, far different energy, but still just as lovely and beautiful. So last month's reading felt very spot on, and I look back on the reading for my own guidance several times during the month. And one thing I did with that reading is I introduced a fourth card, which was a color card that we could work with for the month. And it was pink last month, and I worked with that quite a bit. And so I liked the way that felt. And so my plan is to pull another color card for this month and see what kind of energy that gives us to work with. Just clearing space a little bit with some white sage. I've already cleared my energy and made sure that my guides are with me and of the highest of light. But it's always good to do a little extra clearing, especially when the energy is intense. So white sage and Palo Santo are my two go-tos for smudging, though sometimes I smudge with cedar, depending on what I've got going on. That energy also feels well. And I do, if I'm burning incense, I'm very tied to sandalwood as an incense, but I'm just going to kind of leave the Palo Santo here, let it burn a little bit. I mean, hopefully not set it on fire with my candle, but just kind of let that essence and energy of that Palo Santo, which is both clearing and healing, move forward. So we're using the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, which is what I have used for, I don't know, over 3 years now for these channel readings, for these monthly readings. I love this deck because I think that spirit animals are something that are universal. It's something that we can all associate with. Some oracle decks are based on angels or nature, or different ideas, thoughts. But spirit animals, I think that everywhere you live on this earth, you can associate with an animal energy. So that's one of the reasons that I enjoy working with this deck. I'm just going to move the candle out of frame, or not out of frame, but up in the corner, and we'll see what we got. We are having a lot of rain right now in eastern Montana, which is a blessing because it was very dry. And so I know Gaia is very, very helpful. I was doing some yard work just a couple days earlier, and I got a blister on my finger. So sorry, pardon that. I thought about putting a Band-Aid on and covering it up, but I kind of like to leave it open to air and, just kind of want to see how it'll heal. All right, so let's look at our cards. So I look at 3 energies for every month, and we look at the energy that that our overall collective conscious is sending to us for our mind, for our body, and our spirit. So for our mind, for our body, and then for our spirit. And then we kind of just see what the cards have to tell us and what the energy we have in store for us. So we'll first look at our mind card. You know, the mind is very mental, and since we're in Gemini season, that makes sense. And Gemini is always thinking, always developing a plan. Gemini can switch back and forth a lot, but it's a very intense energy. It's ruled by Mercury, you know, the great communicator. So we have a lot of stuff going on in our mind now. So I think the mind reading is going to be very important for this month. And we have Stag Spirit, and it says, take the lead. I love this card. As a matter of fact, this is the card that she chose to be on the cover of the deck. And it's beautiful. It's a stag, a white stag, actually. And these cards are so beautifully done. But the message is Stag Spirit and take the lead. And so, you know, if you look at animals in the forest, sometimes we do think of stags as being the king, you know, of everything, at least in more wooded northern forests. But Stag Spirit is an energy of command. So the message here is, whether or not you have set your intention to lead, you may have found yourself suddenly called to step up to the forefront in your life. Stag Spirit is a reminder that now is the time to heed the call to be sure, strong, and compassionate. I think it's very important that compassion is mentioned there. Others will look at you, and you will have it within you to see through the eyes of Stag Spirit and walk with confidence as you take on the responsibilities that are yours now, and to model integrity in all you do and in all of your relationships. Be willing to see the best in others so that your compassionate heart keeps you on the right path. Stag Spirit wants you to know that your responsibilities are now to yourself as well, for you are learning and developing new skills, which makes sense because this is our message for our mind, and leadership is being in the mind, our confidence and how we present ourselves, as well as new ideas and new roles. We take those on in our mind before we express them in our life. So you are a model for transformation now. So that's a beautiful way to start this June reading. Let's take a look now at our message for our body. Now, this might feel like a more grounded energy. We'll see what animal we get. We have Bobcat Spirit, and we have life is a mystery. And holy, isn't that the truth? It is a mystery, though the truth is, it's kind of hidden from us. And if we could just remember, if we could just connect with our soul and our higher self, everything would make sense and everything would fall into place as far as terms of what we're doing. But for right now, we're experiencing a great mystery, and it kind of does feel like a mystery. Like every morning when I wake up, it feels like a new mystery is going to be revealed to me. And I try not to look at the weather, or not the weather, but the news very much. The energy all over the planet is so intense, and I just tell myself, this is something that we have to move through as a human collective. You know, things need to become clear to people who it wasn't clear to. Things need to become more clear to people who have been seeing the way forward for a while. We all are shifting and changing, and sometimes that's very uncomfortable. And as those mysteries are revealed to us, it can feel confusing at first, but then we can take strength in knowing that things are being revealed to us. So this is Bobcat Spirit. The oracle message is, the bobcat moves furtively and mysteriously, and when Bobcat Spirit appears to you, she brings a powerful reminder that not all things in life can be explained or understood through the power of intellect. So that's our mind. Our intellect is how our brain works. It's like our computer processor, but sometimes we need to get out of our mind and feel with our heart and our soul to really know what's going on. That's me talking, not the deck. Trying to figure things out, finding logical explanations, or predicting what will happen based on reason and facts will not provide you with the certainty and comfort you seek. Bobcat asks you to trust in the great mystery and let the secrets of the universe reveal themselves to you through direct experience. Allow your vision to slip into soft focus, and you will see between the lines and observe what has been hidden there all along. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. The truth is within all of us, and sometimes it's like peeling an onion, though. We have to get down to those layers and layers and layers before the core truth is revealed to us. But it will come to all of us in time. But, the deck talks about letting your eyes go soft. It's kind of like going into a meditation or a self-hypnosis state and really connecting with your higher self, connecting with your soul, and then seeing what messages you get or come through. And the veil is thinner, and it's thinning all the time. Certainly certain times a year, like around Beltane, which was at the 1st of May, or around the 1st of May, and Samhain, which is at the end of October, early November. Those periods are very liminal in the sense that the veil is thinner. And so if we're going to see things like out of the corner of our eye, it seems like those are the times that we would normally see it. But now the veil is thinning everywhere across the board. So expect that we're going to start noticing more things like that as our frequencies and vibrations raise, as the planet's frequency and vibration range raises. Things will change and we will become more apparent. It will become more apparent, the things that are around us that we haven't been able to see for a long time, which is part of the mystery of life. So let's take a look at what the overall collective message is for our spirit now. We have, I don't think I've ever pulled this card for myself in a personal reading or even in a collective reading. Beautiful. So this is Starfish Spirit. Sorry about my blister there. Open to the infinite possibility. Open to infinite possibility. So this is just another beautiful card. The artwork in the deck is just fantastic. So Starfish Spirit, interesting that we started with the 59 card or 58 card and we're ending with the 59 card. And we got 8, which in the tarot is the strength card, which I think is kind of what we need to tie everything together. We need to have a lot of strength, outward and inner strength. But Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. So this kind of ties in line with the world becoming more liminal and us starting to see more that we couldn't see before. And so because of this, or even to see this, we have to be open to the infinite possibility that anything is possible and anything can exist because we are creating our realities. And that's hard for me to remember sometimes, especially when things are bumpy or challenging. I'm like, how could I be creating this? And it's not all directly created by us. Some of it is created by the environment and energy around us, but we can control how we respond to things, how we look at things, and how open we are to mysteries that are being revealed to us. So the oracle message on this card is, stretched out on a beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the powerful potential. As you look out toward the horizon, do you open up to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunities beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone to dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith, for miraculous potential is shining down on you. I'm just going to say that line again because I think it's so beautiful and so powerful. Okay. Dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith, for miraculous potential is shining down on you. Miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. Yeah, that's a beautiful message. And this is a really interesting collection of cards. And I think it works perfectly together, of course, as it does, because Source and the collective, Source is giving us this message and the collective needs it. But it is telling us that we are going to have to take the lead. You are going to have to take the lead maybe in your families, your friends, your coworkers, and set an example. I'm not saying that you need to start bossing everybody around, but sometimes we can be silent leaders by just setting an example by how we handle the energy around us, how we process it, and how we move through it or forward. And then we know that life is a mystery. And so Bobcat is telling us that there are going to be some mysteries this month. There's been more disclosures coming out to us all the time. Some people are thinking it's ways to hide and other things. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but things are being revealed to us. And sometimes we don't believe in the things that are revealed or fully embrace the possibility of them because we're guarded and we don't trust the source that's giving them to us. But be aware that the world is changing. There are a lot of mysteries around us that we don't know and we've only scratched the surface of. But Starfish Spirit is telling us to be open to infinite possibility because of these mysteries. And so take the lead in how you process this information. I think this is what this reading is kind of trying to show us. I do want to look at a color card again, and I'm pretty excited about this. This deck, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but this is The Secret Language of Color Cards by Ina Siegel. Ina or Ina, I'm not sure how you say it. But I have liked this deck so far. I've seen somebody else using it, and I was like, what is that? I've really become interested in color healing, adding that to my Reiki practice, adding it to my overall meditation practices. And so this deck seemed perfect. So what color are we going to work with this month? Turquoise. Awaken your empathy. Well, this is one of my favorite colors in the world. Actually, this is pretty similar to, I'm looking right now, to the color in my kitchen, turquoise. So the card is Awaken Your Empathy. And if you look at the 34, it adds to 7. 7 is a very interesting number. I love it. 7s are important in my life, but it is a number associated with a little bit of mystery, but also magic and the unknown and how we process it. But turquoise as a color makes me think of the deep, deep, deep blue sea. Though honestly, you could think of this as being the color of the sky as well, or my kitchen. But I think of turquoise as being a very water-oriented card. And yet, if you look at the artwork, it is watery, but yet it appears almost like to be in the pattern of a flower opening up. So empathy is interesting because empathy is hard. You know, if we're empaths, we feel the emotions of others around us. And I am an empath, and I've learned to understand that over the years, that sometimes I process information or feelings that aren't my own. And I'm learning how to protect myself from that in a way, and to be aware that some of those emotions are not my own. And then I kind of put up a protective barrier around myself, and yet look at the source, where that's coming from, and see how I can still potentially help those people through that energy. So I just want to read what turquoise says here, okay? Turquoise inspires the use of communication with feelings, builds confidence in your abilities. Confidence ties to taking the lead here. Communication with feelings talks about mystery and being open to it. Connects you with your intuition. Again, this is all falling into place. And awakens your empathy. Turquoise makes ancient wisdom available and provides a sense of connection to you and your inner mastery. Hold something turquoise to awaken your empathy for others. And there is a little message here on empathy, and I think that it's important, as I said, to protect ourselves, but yet be empathetic in the sense that you don't take on those emotions, but you can still recognize why people have those emotions, and it might explain some of their behaviors to you, and that can make communication a great deal more beneficial to everybody. When you empathize with people, you let go of judgments and place yourself in their shoes. Allow your spirit to soften and receive the opportunity to support, encourage, and inspire others. It says, then tell someone who needs to hear it that you care about them. The biggest way to prevent diseases is to show others that they matter. So that's interesting that diseases work in there. Because diseases aren't necessarily a physical illness. They can be a mental illness as well, or just feeling stuck sometimes can be a disease. Really, if you think of the root of the word, disease is dis-ease, in whatever way that's formed, whether we finally express it in our physical body or we express it in our mental or spiritual self first. So this is a beautiful reading. I hope you all have enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful June. Honestly, this was a little bit longer of a reading than I expected, but I feel like Source wants this to be said. So again, thank you. My name is Stacy. My channel is The Liminal Space. I wish you all the best, June. I'll see you soon for the summer solstice reading, the Letha reading, and then we'll go into a little bit more the energies around the summer solstice. So I'm wishing you all a happy, happy June. Take care. Bye.